Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger and my friends. Today we're talking again about Marvel Tokon, and we're talking about a bit of a splash that Marvel Tokon made at the PlayStation State of Play. So we had the new trailer, The Unbreakable X-Men, and we saw some new characters like Magic, Wolverine, and namely Danger. So Danger is a character that frankly, the majority of the audience watching has no clue who she is. And don't get me wrong, that's perfectly fair. She is not a major character at all, and frankly, spawned in what you would call the modern dark ages of comics. So no, like, you really wouldn't hear of her. She's not in the X-Men Golden Age or anything like that. Back when everyone knew everything about X-Men in their prime or any of the movies or whatever. She's a small footnote character, although in the game, she's really cool. Very unique playstyle, can like turn her body parts into various weapons, which is comic accurate, by the way. And in a cutesy anime style, very different from how she appears in the comic. But then again, the part of Tokon's selling point is everyone sort of has like a Japanese aesthetic redesign. So since I make a lot of fighting game lore videos anyways, and I am a fan of the comics, I figure, you know what? Since most people do not know who this character is, let's get you up to speed. Now, this won't be like a super in-depth, like every appearance she's ever had breakdown. It's not that many, really. She's not that big of a character. She's not a big deal. But what this will do, especially if you're a fan of the older comics, older shows, older movies, this will probably make you not like Professor X. Because if all you know is the more classic X-Men stuff, he ain't the character you remember him being, and he hasn't been for a long time. Old Chuck... He's done some things. But hey, let's start with the basics. Who is Danger? Danger is indeed the Danger Room. The iconic X-Men training area that can make any scenario, fight any enemy, sometimes get too real for its own good. This Danger is the Danger Room. It's basically the physical manifestation of the Danger Room. So she's called Danger because, I don't know, it's just easier that way, I guess. So that in and of itself is not a hard sell, but despite the very cutesy anime appearance that's given to the character in Marvel Tokon, her origin's actually a little bit more rough than you would expect. Because she's Professor X's pet slave to help train his child soldiers. Sound rough? Well, let's get into it. So enter the 2004 run of the Astonishing X-Men. This is why you don't know who Danger is, because this was not a big time for comics. Long after the 90s Golden Age, and this was long before the MCU happened. Iron Man as a film was years and years away. Although this was being published roughly around the same time Avengers Disassembled was, which was one of Marvel's first big mega yearly events, which led to House of M, which you may have heard of. Part of the whole No More Mutants debacle, which did a number on the comics for a very, very long time, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, for Danger, to kind of sum it up, the whole arc begins with a young boy jumping to his death, but it's not in reality. It happened in the Danger Room. Why? The Danger Room broke its programming and tricked him into doing it. Now, hang on a second, why is my cute anime robot waifu doing things like that? That's just not very nice now, is it? Well, it's a bit of a poop rolls downhill kind of thought process. So the Danger Room is now sentient and is causing some problems. This is actually where one of Cyclops' most iconic moments in comic history comes from, by the way. Where even once, very rarely, Wolverine will give Scott his due. I'm like, yeah, you can kind of mess people up when you wanna. But while the good guys are fighting off the Sentinel, the kids evacuate to the Danger Room, where Danger now inflicts some psychological torture, because why not? And remember, Danger Room can do anything, turn into anything, right? So let's send all the kids to hell. That'll mess them up a little bit. And you're like saying, wait a second, no, not my robot wife. And don't worry, she's a good guy now, so the kids will just have to forgive her, I guess. Don't worry though, Wolverine uses his hacking expertise to shut it all down, and then we gotta do the real fight, right? The fist fight, because that's how comics work. And this is Danger, which again, decidedly different from the anime cutesy version Tokon's going for. So remember the part I said you're gonna hate Professor X? Don't worry, they're building up to that, right? But yeah, we got some more fist fights, to make it very clear the X-Men stand zero chance against Danger. And in no uncertain terms as far as she's concerned, it's all a very long time coming. Again, because, Charles designed the Danger Room, so to push the X-Men to the limits, and that's exactly what Danger knows what to do. Also, it sort of helps that she hates their guts and hates Charles' guts. Why? Because she's not a willing participant. She never was. Again, she's a sentient being. She never wanted to be here to begin with. During one of the million times the mansion was destroyed and they rebuilt the Danger Room, Charles got an upgrade. He got some Shi'ar technology. Which, given what little we know of the plot, we can see the Shi'ar homeworld in this little opening animatic, right? So there's at least some Shi'ar stuff here. So by default, that makes Danger our Shi'ar rep, if anything, I suppose. But anyways, became self-aware, and that's whatever. Okay, sure, whatever. That's normal storyline stuff. The problem with that is this. Charles always knew this. He never not knew. He saw this new life form budding and wondering where it is and scared alone, and he was okay with it. He let her be. Why? He needed his child soldiers. The Danger Room was the best way to produce them. The ends justify the means. Now hang on a second, that's not my Professor X, that's not my Charles Xavier. Well, if you only knew the cartoons from back in the day and the movies, you only got a sneak peek. Want to know some more fun Professor X just trivia? Did you know he actually formed an alternate team of X-Men to help save the original X-Men? And whoopsie doodle, got them all killed. Also, one of them is Scott's brother. Wait a second, Scott had another brother? I never heard of that. Well, funny story, turns out. So all the corpses got launched into space and Professor X mind wiped everybody because it was too inconvenient just to let it be known. There was another team of X-Men, they all died. So Professor X wipes all their memories and Scott gets to ever forget he had another brother. And folks, it keeps on going from there. When it's all said and done in this first introductory arc of Danger, she says, the X-Men, they don't have the slightest idea of who you really are, do they? And all he has to say to that is, I like to think that Jean knew and understood. So now that you sort of know what Chuck's all about for real, right? Like he gets chewed out a bit, but like in reality, all he's hearing in his head.
Liberal, happy fun, la la la, human smuggling, fentanyl deaths, forced government euthanasia.
And that's how Danger is introduced to the X-Men universe. Now, to be fair to Charles Xavier, there is a slight retcon later on where he's like, well, I didn't want to do it. Like, I would have helped you if I could. Which, given so much what Charles has done in the years since, like, I don't buy it. Like, this was done years after that storyline as an attempt to save face. Yo, he did that stuff. And, like, potentially not even the worst things that he's done. So share your favorite Professor X sucks storylines in the comments below. Let everyone lose faith in their hero from the 90s cartoon. But that's Danger, and Danger eventually made nice with the X-Men, helped run their secret illegal underground prisons. Oh yeah, that's a thing, by the way, that's a thing. So now, knowing all of this, I just want you to appreciate what a weird outside pick that Danger is for the game. Cause like, yeah, most people just don't know who she is, right? But if you did, because I remember reading the comics at the time, when I saw Danger on the screen, my only reaction was, what? Cause like of all the characters and like one with such history behind her and like technically she's a good guy now, she's joined the X-Men, she likes the X-Men now, but what a pick. But they're doing good by her because even like little one-off things in the comic. Like, hey, here's her flying with wings. And it's just a one-off deal, right? And then they turn that into like her big cinematic super and she's got like giant robot butterfly wings. And this is beautifully animated, by the way. Like they went far. So if Danger is one of the picks for Marvel Tokon, I'm scared they're going to hit someone even I don't know who it is. And then an even bigger nerd than me is going to have to like dumb it down and explain it to me. But yeah, so if you didn't know, now you know. This is Danger, one of your unbreakable X-Men in Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. And sorry for ruining Professor X for you. He kind of sucks. All I can say is it was foretold a long time ago. But that all said, my friends, that's it for me, and that is it for the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some fighting games.